This week I'm going to reflect on my GCSE class at my placement B school. I was given a Year 10 GCSE class who were quite weak, kind of a CD borderline. They lacked confidence, they lacked belief in themselves, and I was given this class to do a devising piece of work for the Edexcel GCSE Drama Unit 3. So I wrote a scheme of work for them, which also fulfilled a target for myself of writing a scheme of work from complete scratch. So I wrote a scheme which started with very structured workshops, and I guided them through the theme of protest. I got them to discuss the issues of the suffragette movement and Tiananmen Square, exploring the themes through practical work and performing at the end of the lesson. And I felt that this would build their confidence by allowing them to use their own ideas from the discussion and take them through to devising and through to performing at the end of the lesson. For the research, I looked at the FFT figures and their expected grades, and I also looked at previous assessments with a view to improving their attainment. My mentor's view was that she encouraged me to be firm with the group and to raise the expectations because they had such little belief in themselves. There is another GCSE group in Year 10 doing exactly the same course, GCSE Drama, who are much stronger than this group, and it wasn't a setting issue, it was just the way the timetable and the option columns worked out, and they seemed to look to this group as being better than themselves, and a group that they could never be as good as. But I felt they had not challenged themselves, and also the class teacher felt that they were capable of much more than they were actually achieving at the moment. So she wanted me to try and raise their attainment because they were just not focused enough or creative enough with their work, and she wanted to encourage, well, she indeed did encourage me to be stronger with the group, to try and encourage them to be more focused, more creative, to believe in themselves more. So what strategies did I adapt? I started with a discussion about them, about what high expectations I had of them. I adhered to my usual strict classroom rules, and I didn't allow them to chew, to mess around, to talk about other issues or outside issues inside the classroom. When we were inside the classroom, we were just talking about drama. We weren't talking about anything else whatsoever. So I wanted to create a complete total focus on drama and what we were doing in the lesson. And we were dealing with a pretty serious issue, and we were exploring themes that they hadn't really considered before, so I wanted them to have a complete focus, to take it seriously, to engage them so that they had passion in the subject and wanted to create really good drama. And I consistently reinforced these high expectations. I praised them throughout the whole of the lesson, even in the discussion stages. I went round into the small group work that we split up into, and when they performed consistently, let them know what high expectations I had of them. And did it work? Yes, it did. It was a little bit up and down, I have to admit, to start with, and inconsistent. We would have maybe a good lesson, and then maybe the next lesson would not be as good, and that happened maybe for 2 or 3 lessons. But the confidence that the pupils had in themselves started to build as we got to kind of lesson 4, lesson 5, and they produced some absolutely fantastic fantastic work, some absolutely brilliant performances at the end of the workshops that I was running for them. What worked best, I think, was my insistence that all pupils performed at the end of the lesson, and I let them know this at the beginning of the lesson and reinforced this throughout the lesson. And I felt that the less confident pupils then, and it ensured that they perform. And I felt sure that if I didn't do that, that they would have just kind of blended into the background and not necessarily would have performed or had a very small part in their performance at the end of the lesson, which is okay at Key Stage 3, but at Key Stage 4, when they've chosen to take this as GCSE, doing an exam in a year's time, it's important that they are at the forefront of the performance, and that they are working collaboratively with the rest of the class. I felt I needed to adapt my style of teaching, coming from Hertford High and teaching the BTEC class that I've been involved with there, who have needed very, very strict behaviour rules, and I've needed to follow a really, really strict behaviour policy. I felt that these pupils needed more coaxing and encouraging and praise rather than behaviour management. Yes, there was a little bit of mucking about, which I knocked on the head straight away, but really it wasn't about the behaviour, it was about raising their attainment and raising their expectations in themselves and their belief in themselves that they could actually produce excellent drama. Their final performance was truly amazing. One pupil compiled a PowerPoint presentation, and another pupil compiled a music compilation to play during the performance. They performed with emotion, with feeling, with total conviction. They gave a really, really moving, convincing performance. I assessed them on this performance as well, and their marks were, when I entered them in the computer system, a lot higher, or much higher than their last assessment, which showed that I had raised the attainment of all the pupils during this scheme of work.